relation. We're not calling somebody that we don't have a relationship with. So this is, kind of like when you have softball questions in an interview, right? Like, tell me, how did you like the film? That kind of thing. So this is all very easy lift for us here. And what I want to do, and this is our first time doing this, right, is that I'm going to go ahead. Can I share my screen?
Yep, you are co-host, so you should be able to.
Okay, let me just do more here. Share content screen. So my screen should be sharing here shortly. It's on. All right. So let me go back to Sheets. Okay, here you guys can see my Google Sheets here. Yes, I'm assuming yes. Okay. So this is what I'm doing for my calls for today. These are all of the deals that I did in 2021. And I'm going to go ahead and call people on this list. These are all the addresses that I have. And these are people that I haven't talked to in a while. And my goal right now until about 10:45 is to call as many people as I can on this list to check in and have some conversations with them. A couple things with this. Hold on, let me just go back and stop the share for a second. So that's kind of my list of people. So I suggest that, to make it an easy lift for you guys, is that you can call people that have closed in the first half of this year or the first quarter, or people that you have done business with in the last year. Just checking in, how's summer going? Are you beating the heat? What's going on? That type of thing. Very simple. And inevitably, these people you talk to, buyers and sellers, and again, this is our first time doing it. So I want you to call people that you like, right? Don't force yourself to do a heavy lift where there was a fight at the closing table at the end and you begrudgingly gave up $700 of your commission and, wish you could have told them to go, whatever themselves. So anyway, that's not who we're calling today, right? We're calling people who we like, right? And inevitably what's going to happen, just checking in, see how things are going. The question's going to come up. What's the big question that's going to come up? How's the real estate market, right? So here in New York, I've been dealing with a volatile market for the last 6 years, right? So first quarter in New York City real estate market, everything was on fire. Sold instantly, multiple bidding wars. Second quarter, everybody freaked out. It was a pause button. The world is ending. Again, for like the 6th time in the last 6 years. And lo and behold, Q3, we're at a very calm moment in time and deals are happening. So that's a nice talking point that I have with it. So any rate, and what I thought here with kind of the group text here just going in is that we can just type in, I'm going to call my first person. I'm calling a buyer or a seller that I had a year ago. I haven't touched base with them. I'm going to see. Couple of quick notes, and then we'll jump in. Again, I don't want to burn too much time on talking here. I'm more about doing.
We do have a couple of questions also in the chat box if you want.
Okay, let me take a look at the questions then.
So one question was if it's okay to text if they don't pick up.
Yes. So it's whatever you feel comfortable with your base of people. I have found, and again, everybody's market is different. I'm from Wisconsin, so when I call people in Wisconsin, guess what? They pick up the phone. When I call people in New York, guess what? They never pick up the phone. So what's kind of nice, but they do call back. That's what's key. They may not call back immediately. They may not call back next day, but they will call back. So I personally like to leave voice messages, keep it under a minute, ideally 45 seconds or less. Hi, Martin and Ariel. Great touching, had spent a while. Give me a call. I want to see how you're doing. Super simple, that type of thing. If you have people that you are that you know are better texts. If you ring and you get the VM, don't leave the voicemail and then text them. You can do that as well. What was another question that they had?
Time of day. Is there a best time of day? And how do you set the schedule for yourself when you're doing this?
Time of day is right now, 10 to 11 is the best time that I have found for me, right? It gives everybody
So if you're on the
the
East Coast, you're saying 10 to 11. If you're on the West Coast and it's 7 in the morning, you may want to wait a few hours.
you may want to wait a few hours if you're on the West Coast. That is correct. But you know what you can do as an alternative, as opposed to this time right now, is that this is coming on again at 10 o'clock West Coast time. So you can join that one if you want to.
And
Or
right
you can
now
go,
you can prepare the list of maybe the people you want to attack.
yeah, this is again super easy lift. What was another question?
As a newer agent without many previous clients, where would you recommend starting?
I would, if you don't have a lot of previous clients, I would call friends and family and check in with them and see what's going on. That's
Okay.
what I would do.
I think we have answered most, and some wanted to know about that spreadsheet that you created, if you would be willing to share.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share that. So I can, if you tell me.
What we're gonna do is anything that all of our accountability coaches share or are willing to share from their own personal business, we will have in our platform that you can access. So Martin will share it with us and we would put it there so you guys can all access it.
All right.
All right,
So
so
just,
we can get rolling.
yeah, let's get going. I'm really excited about this, and I'm going to put you guys on mute, but I will type in exactly what I'm doing, and I'll share my screen again so you can see who I'm calling, and we'll take it from there. All right.
All right, while Martin is calling Ariel, you guys can look to a past client or, as we said, a friend or family member, and you can make a call at the same exact time and hopefully get through to somebody. Martin, they want to know if they can listen to you for inspiration, if you make a connection.
Yeah, guys, I'm happy to unmute myself. So quick thing there is Ariel Lagai. I got a voicemail and I left a message with him. I still owe him a celebration dinner from when we closed last year. I'm now going to call 184 Kent B301. And that was a couple. I'm going to call Tyler right now.
Okay, we're gonna listen in.
All right. It's either Ty or Heather. I always get these. Let's see what's going on. I got his voicemail. Hi, Ty. This is Martin Iden calling. I hope you and Heidi are doing well. Just wanted to check in and see how your summer's been. Sean and I would love to get together with you guys sometime. It's been, I think, about a year since we had dinner. That would be great. And Sean and I had a good time running with Heidi on Halloween for that 10K run. So anyway, when you get a chance, give me a call, 917-701-8898, 917-701-8898. Thanks, Ty. Take care. Bye. All right, so now I'm talking to the group if you're listening. So again, I'm calling people that I like, and I'm calling people that I wouldn't mind having a meal with, right? But you don't have to be that heavy a lift. It could be a quick check-in on that. So, and again, as expected, this is New York. So I'm going to be I'm expecting voicemails. If somebody picks up, great. So, but so far I've already made 2 calls, right? I'm now going to jump into 532 West 111th Street. These are people that I had.
Do you mark the calls in your Compass CRM while you're calling to kind of like,
to keep the momentum going, I probably will do that later, but I don't want to make it kind of a stop and start. I like having this time as like, this is my moment to make my 5 to 10 calls, and then I can go back and make notes afterwards. Because what happens, I find, is that if you go back and forth, you get distracted, and then, oh, I want to go to the bathroom, I want to have a cup of coffee, I want to eat something. I'm here to make calls right now. Does that make sense?
that makes sense. So while you have the momentum going, you're not going to stop, but that's why you only do 5, so you don't overwhelm yourself and forget.
Or 5 or 10 or something, right? I mean, and for me, like once you get, this is very similar, guys, to an open house, right? Everybody's done open houses. When you, the first person that comes in, you kind of are like warming up to it. But if you have an open house of person after person, then you kind of get into it. Well, here's the closet. This is the kitchen. Can you believe it's got a microwave? Oh my God, it's unbelievable. So, we're all in sales. This is, this is kind of fun getting into it. Does that make sense? Was there any other questions?
Yeah, that makes sense. And Natalia asked a question, is it better to keep calling until you get your clients to pick up rather than leaving a voicemail? And
no, leave a voicemail. These are warm leads.
right.
These are warm leads. You're calling people that are going to want to talk to you.
Right. This is not cold calling. So if you have a relationship with these people, you should have no issue leaving a voicemail, and they should be excited to hear from you.
That is correct. All right. Now I want to call my next person, 532 West 11th Street. Right. And I'm happy to keep myself unmuted if you want to listen to me. If you don't want to listen to me, just turn the volume down and make your own calls, right? Like, okay, so Nira and Christopher. I'm going to be calling Nira now. All right, went to voicemail again. Hey, Nira, this is Martin Iden calling. Hope all is well with you and Christopher and Ileana. Just wanted to check in, see how your summer's coming along. Give me a call when you get a chance. 917-701-8898. 917-701-8898. Thanks, and talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, so just some pointers here on this is, the question was asked earlier, does it make sense to go ahead and leave a voice message or text? I, thinking more about it, I personally like leaving voice messages because a text, texts are designed for very short conversations back and forth, and then you're done. If you leave a voice message, and it's a warm call, which is what they're doing, kind of the unwritten polite rule is they're compelled to call you back. Now, what I do, and I don't mind leaving all these voice messages now, but when they call back, barring, me negotiating $100 million penthouse, I'm going to pick up that call, right? Because it's very simple to see the call coming in and saying, oh, I'll call that person back later. And then it kind of turns into a phone tag back and forth. And then the whole thing kind of diminishes. So when, it's okay to leave a voice message, but when they call back, again, it should be priority one for you to pick up the call back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I was going to ask, or Andrea asked, have you tried to text a video saying hello?
I did that for Thanksgiving. That's more kind of a gratitude thing. This is, there's nothing, I joke in sometimes an unstable market, tried and true, nothing new. An old-fashioned phone call, leaving a voice message, again, the unwritten social etiquette is for them to call you back. If you leave a flashy video and you send it as a text, you might get a thumbs up, you might get a heart. That is not the objective, in my point of view, of what we're doing right now. The objective is to engage in people in a conversation and talk to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and to your point about text, Heather said she's been texting and got 4 responses. Is that good?
Well, any response is a good response, right? If you got the response, then I would go ahead and say, hey, do you have a minute to chat? I'd love to catch up.
Right. So you try to lead that text into a phone call.
Right. Or if they text back, just call them right away.
Right, because
right. I mean, how many times have we been on a deal where either with the clients or the other broker, intuitively you say, you know what, I'm just going to call this because the text is going to get and then you pick up the call and you pick it up right away. I wouldn't even ask permission to call. I would just go back and call. And I would be like, hey, I thought it'd be easier than texting back and forth. I gave you a call. What's going on? Right? That means that they're available. That's what I would do.
And a question, do you follow up with handwritten notes on any of these calls?
So handwritten notes are going to be, you're with the whatever, the 532 program, we're supposed to be writing 10 handwritten notes a week. If this call was particularly meaningful, I might do a handwritten note, but I have them, I have these tracks kind of independent of each other. Handwritten notes for me are really like, who did I run into today, or what moves me to send a handwritten note to somebody? And that's kind of what we're going to focus on, not next week, but the week after, is handwritten notes.
So I just, Martin keeps referencing the 5-4-3-2-1 daily activity plan. And I just, for those of you who are new to Chirag Shah Coaching or don't know where to find this, I did just drop it into the chat box so you can access it, take it, download it so you have it and you can follow along with it every day. of course, now while we're on the call, so you can see the other answers about handwritten notes, client events, and all those other possible outreaches. Right now, Martin is focusing on calling, very warm people in his, past client list.
That is correct. So just kind of as a reference here on the screen that I'm sharing. So
I'm sorry to cut you off. Katrina has a win. She just did a 10-minute call with a client from last year. That's
awesome.
great, Katrina. Thank you for sharing. So those
That's
of
a
you who
huge
haven't
win.
started, huge win. If those of you are still on the call and haven't started to make a call yet, please don't wait for Martin. Go ahead, mute us and make your call.
Right. All right. I'm going down the list here just as a quick reference, right? So for West 19th Street, that person's in California, too early to call. 11 Hoyt Street, I already talked to them recently. 1167 East 11th, there was Ariel who I called. 184 Kent, I left a message for Ty and Heidi. 132 West 11th Street, I left a message for Nira and Christopher. 149 Skillman is not my client. That's one of my team persons. 431 is one of my team persons. 244 Riverside Drive is the seller. I talked to him last week. He's president of the board, had questions. 52 3rd Avenue is not my client. I'm now down to 550 Grand Street. And I'm going to call Eileen right now, see what's going on.
All right, let's hear it.
Hey, Eileen, this is Martin Iden calling. How are you? Hi. Right? Why not? No, well, to be honest, I was just going through my sales that I did last year, and I'm like, oh, I gotta give Eileen a call. What's going on? So I'm doing good. I can't complain. Like I told you, we had a place upstate that we kind of did a big year renovation on, and it's like 95% done. And yeah. Right. Yeah, absolutely. So what's going on with you guys? You guys were left and then came back, right? Or something? Or I kind of lost the whole. Oh, very nice. Well, why not? Like necessary and made to have that happen. Oh, oh wow. Okay, that's a fun name. That is so funny. Yeah, it's go ahead. Yeah, no, it's so it was interesting. So it's the right the answer is the right busy. So Q1 this year was like all of last year. People can buy enough, and then Q2, and it's good that you got something. It was a good time, right? Because there was the started with the Ukraine war, and then the stock market drop, and then interest rates rise. So Q2, I mean, I had a couple of deals that couple of big deals that worked out, which was great. But most people were kind of thanks. It was kind of like the pause button, And now, kind of the first 3 weeks of July have been, this is actually one of my favorite times of the market where it's like an equal playing field for both buyers and sellers, is what I'm finding. So, prices are still holding for sellers, which is great. And buyers can like take more than 30 seconds to make a decision on buying something. So it's a good combo. Wow, that's amazing. That was smart. That was smart. You got to go in aggressive, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Right. No, I understand. Right. He was. He was a complete clown. Right. And your tenants are doing good uptown, right? Those guys are great. Oh, no problem. Oh, that's great. Wow. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, that's great. Right. I agree. I would never bet against New York, ever. Oh, Karen's amazing. She's super, super great. Right. Right. Oh, right. No, you're great. You're great on that. Never a butt dial, Eileen. All right. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And congrats with the space. And yeah, I'm happy to help out your friend. That would be great. Okay. Sometimes those are the best. The one step removed is always good. Um, Perfect. Yep. All right. Likewise. You let me know when you're moved into the new place. I want to take a look at it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right. I'll talk to you. Thank you. Fair enough. Absolutely. Thanks again. Bye. Okay. Are there still people on this call?
Yes, we still have people here. I think a lot of them were listening. This was obviously
Okay.
a good
Fair
call
enough.
for you.
So you know what I could have done is I could have had my phone on speaker back and forth. I don't know if you got the whole conversation. So this was also kind of like a learning lesson in a way, right? So the good news is Eileen picked up. I helped her with the 1031 exchange up in Inwood, like a 500,000 2-bedroom. I helped her sell her 2-bedroom on the Lower East Side of Manhattan last year. They were going to move to Cleveland, and I think we sold it for like, we got a good price. I don't know, 758 or 780. I think was the number that we had. So I called her. This is basically a year later. Guess so. Here's the want. They moved back to New York. I knew they were renting, and they bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the same housing complex that I sold. Right. So kind of the want knee jerk reaction is I felt bad. I wasn't part of that transaction. I wasn't invited to be part of that transaction. And to be honest, that's 100% on me. I should have been more involved talking to her. The last time I think I sent her was my Thanksgiving video, to be honest, right? So that's a learning lesson on me. But at the same time in the conversation, she said she referred me to someone else who's looking to sell, so they know a broker. And with me calling her, that reinforced her. She said, I'll go reach out to her again, right? It's kind of nice to have an advocate for someone. And I also know this seller enough, and she's savvy enough here in New York. In a competitive market, you usually get a leg up as a buyer if you don't have a broker representing you, right? And I've already gotten 2 deals with her, so I'm not, it's a relationship type thing. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So it was great to talk with her. And I would consider that, a win. Number one, she's going to, call the lead to be an advocate for me. And that's also a reminder for me, like, hey, she fell through the cracks. It's 100% on me for missing out on it.
So now that she's going to advocate for you, what would be your next step as far as when would you follow up with her again to see if she's advocated and so that she doesn't fall through the cracks again?
You know what? That is a good idea. So probably what I'll do, right? I'm going to text her right now. So this is like a group thing, right? I'm going to text her right now and ask her what her current, because the place she's got needs a complete renovation. So I'm just going to ask her what her current mailing address is. And this would be a good way, somebody asked you, do you write a follow-up note afterwards to someone? This would be a good way to follow up with somebody with a note. So in fact, interestingly enough, I do have her address here. But let me just see what I'm going to copy it.
And just confirm with her that that's
and confirm that that's her address.
Yeah, so that's another way, guys, while Martin's reconfirming something for you to make sure your data in your CRM is all up to date, reconfirm with your clients, is this still your, best address, so that when you're sending gifting or those handwritten notes that you do have the best address.
Right.
on
So that's
file.
what I just said. Are you still at this number? And sure enough, somebody asked about the Thanksgiving video. That was my Thanksgiving video. I was being cute and clever. I dressed up in the tuxedo and sent everybody little personal videos, right? Oh, she's still at that same address, right? So that's the setup. And I'm also going to talk to my marketing guy to make sure that we're mailing her every month on that as well.
Great. We have a win from Liz. She's on a call with a past client now, and that client agreed to do an Instagram reel with her for next week. So this is, figure out different ways to engage your clients. Maybe it's an Instagram reel, maybe as Martin might do a dinner. There's, your clients and you know how you want to engage with them. So you go in with that mindset of what it is. And every client's, of course, a little different as to what you might be doing with them. So, check out those 5 or 10 names, kind of have a game plan going into each phone call of what you want the outcome to be.
I agree. Right. And I saw some people talking on the phone and laughing and having a good time. I mean, that's what this is about, right? This is about engaging with people. And I have found this specifically, and I think I have to make one more phone call to get my 5 in, right? That I want to do live with you guys. Everybody wants to reconnect. Everybody lost 2 years to COVID, right? Those were the missing 2 years. So this is a great time to reconnect. In some ways, people are more chatty now than they were before.
I agree. I think people are more willing to talk on the phone than before. I agree 100%. For those of you who might still be hanging around just watching and listening, maybe because your time zone is not yet right for phone calls, we do encourage you to get started with calls if it is the right time. If it's not, then make a plan, put the list together of those 5 people and what you want those outcomes to be. So when the time is right to start calling, you are all set up for success.
That is correct.
Martin's going to do his 5th call and maybe put it on speaker if they do answer so we can hear the other side.
Right. Absolutely. So let me see, 356, 350.
Yeah, and anybody else who's making calls, if you're having wins, please let us know. We want to celebrate those wins with you.
All right. So I'm going to call, let me see if I can reach out to Benjamin Zip. So it's a couple. To be honest, get along with one of the guys a little bit better than the other guy. So, but I don't know if I have the other guy's number. All right. So I'm going to call, these are people that this was a buy, sell, or a sell, buy. I helped them sell their place and then they bought something else. And these 2 guys adopted a daughter. I think she's about 1.5 years now. The last time I talked with them probably was about a year ago. So this will be a good call. So let me see what's going on. So it's a voice message. Hey JD, this is Martin Iden calling from Compass. Just wanted to check in to see how you, Ben, and Hannah is doing. I think Hannah's coming up on 2 soon. So anyway, I want to see how your summer's doing and all that fun stuff. So give me a call when you get a chance. 917-701-8898, 917-701-8898. Thanks a lot and talk to you soon. Bye. All right, so just kind of going back here. Right, so this is right, so I called them and I did have in my thing how old their daughter was. She was 1.5. at 122, which is, I guess, the last time I talked to them. So 6 months is, I try to reach out to somebody every 3 months, so I'm a little behind on them. And that's it. So I reached out to 5 people in 45 minutes. So, and that's kind of towards the end of our session now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, this has been great. I think everybody, those who have given us great feedback that they've gotten something out of this session, whether they connected with a client, got a showing appointment, got a referral possibly. So some great stuff happened here today. You got a buyer potentially that's going to be referred to you. So it was a very fruitful 45 minutes. So great job, everybody. Like I said, if you haven't made any calls yet, because you're a little bit on the fence still, we encourage you. The question keeps getting asked, why 10 a.m. as opposed to maybe lunchtime or the afternoon?
Well, so the thought process, so there's a couple of thought processes behind that. So first of all, I don't know if you guys ever did any ninja training, but one of my favorite things from ninja training is all real estate brokers have this paranoid chip installed in their neck, thinking that nobody wants to be bothered by them at any given time. And so you have to overcome that fear, right? So, oh, well, maybe I'll call somebody at lunchtime when they're not working, or maybe I'll call them in the afternoon. From my point of view, those are all procrastinations. The era of a leisure lunch is gone, right? I mean, for me, during the day, food is fuel, and I need it to get through the day and stuff. Of course, I'll have nice dinners and stuff, but the leisure lunch, forget about. The reason why I like the 10 to 11 is in the morning, everybody puts out, and everybody you're calling are, working adults, right? They get up early. Probably they get up at 6 or 7 in the morning to get their day started. So you let them have the morning to them, the couple hours to themselves. Then, roughly between 8 and 10, those are your fire put out hours, right? That's when everybody has to deal with stuff. Oh my gosh, I got to take care of this bill. I got to call this person. It's important, blah, blah, blah. So 10 to 11 is really a great time. It's almost the golden hour, right? In movie land, there's the golden hour, the 1 hour of sunset when everybody looks the best. That's the golden hour. So the golden hour for me is, I found this through tried and true, is from 10 to 11. All the morning fires have been put out for people. They can take a break. And the other important thing is that this is the AM. People have much more energy in the AM than they do in the PM. They're exhausted. They're tired. They may be doing other stuff. If you get them in the AM, it's really, and you know what? You might be a nice break for them, right? Out of the 5 people I reached through, Eileen, who was the one that was there, she was excited to talk to me. She could have talked to me for 20 minutes, right? I had to get it, I had to get her off the phone in a polite way on that. So that was kind of a long-winded answer, but the short answer is just do it. It's a good time to call.
Yep. Great, Brad. I'm glad you've put your list together to start your calls at 10 Pacific time. And just to note, anyone here who is on a different time zone from East Coast time, which is 10 a.m. for us right now, we are holding another session at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific, of course, 11 a.m. Mountain time. So if you haven't made your 5 calls, or if you want to do another 5 and the time zone works for you, please feel free to join us at 1 o'clock for that session. And it's been a great 45 minutes, and continue the momentum. Martin will be here next week again at the same
next
time.
week. And the homework assignment next week is we're going to be calling other Compass agents across the country, right? So this gives you, and if you didn't make the calls now, you got to do these 5 warm-up calls now. Next week, we're going to be calling other Compass agents across the country. Everybody's got to know somebody somewhere else in Compass. Again, let's try to make these warm calls. All right.
Thank you, guys. And just that spreadsheet that Martin had up, as well as how to use it, we will put that all on the community platform and let you know when it is available.
Okay.
Thank you, guys, and keep dialing and keep sharing your wins with us. We're very excited that this was a fruitful 45 minutes.
Right. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Have a great rest of the day.